The Pittsburgh Steelers have just had a shocking report arise regarding a new running back, a star running back that could change the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. My name is Peyton Kleppy. Real quick, if you guys are not subscribed to this channel, click that subscribe button down below. It's going to help us grow this channel. We're going to get you guys news about the Steelers, trade rumors, draft rumors, coach rumors, everything regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers. We will get right to you. So just click that subscribe button. It's really going to help us out. Let's get right into the news. We got a ton to talk about today. So first of all, some news that just dropped earlier today. The Steelers have had a carousel of running backs the past probably five years. We had Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, and then Najee Harris, and now Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. They've really been the running back committee in Pittsburgh the past 3-4 years. They've done a pretty good job, but nothing crazy. They both look really good in spurts, but they're not very consistent. Najee, he'll have a 100-yard game, and then he'll have a 20-yard game. Same with Warren. He's really more of a change of pace back. I still don't see the Steelers committing to him as a long-term number one solution. So bringing a guy like Nick Chubb can really help us out. Especially there have been some reports regarding Najee that the Steelers are ready to move on from him. It's sad to say because I really like Najee. He's a great player. He's a great personality, great locker room guy, but I don't know what it is. We just can't seem to get him the best scheme around him. And yes, he's had 4,000 rushing yard seasons in a row. I believe that's the most any player's had in consecutive first starting 4 years or something around that. The past couple years, he's been the top in that. But sadly, in the NFL nowadays, 1,000 yards rushing is not as impressive as it used to be. Back in the day, it used to be a lot more impressive to hit that 1,000-yard mark than it is nowadays. Running backs are very much devalued, and that just shows with the Browns just letting Nick Chubb walk. That Nick Chubb has been their bell cow guy the past probably 6-7 years. The only downside of Nick Chubb is he's dealt with so many injuries in his career throughout college, throughout NFL. I believe 2 years ago, Minka Fitzpatrick, actually our guy, hurt Nick Chubb. It was a pretty crazy hit on a Monday Night Football earlier in the season, but that hit really derailed Chubb's career. But I think this guy really has a lot of potential left. Unfortunately, for the Browns, if you look at his stats this year, he really didn't have too crazy of stats. He only played 8 games. He had 102 rushing yards, or 102 rushing attempts, 363 rushing yards. He only averaged 3.3 yards an attempt, and he had 4 touchdowns. But, Nick Chubb is still a reliable running back. I think he still has a lot of juice. If you could sign him for a smaller contract, nothing crazy, no Saquon money, nothing like that, but maybe like what the Ravens did with Derrick Henry. I'm not comparing the two, but Nick Chubb a few years ago, he led the league in rushing. He was a really high-touted running back, probably top 5 in the league, I'd say, the past couple years, but injuries have really derailed his consistency, and obviously Cleveland sucks. I'm going to say it, they're not good, so it's tough for a running back to have a lot of success when you're stuck on a bottom feeder team like the Cleveland Browns, and there's a whole mess going on in the Browns, with the Deshaun Watson case, and as well as Myles Garrett wanted out of Cleveland. So I really think the Steelers could capitalize on this situation, and if we could sign Nick Chubb, man, I'd really love that for our offense. He'd give us that real downhill running back style, and especially if we get him for a discount, really help us out because Najee, he's gonna hit the market and he's gonna demand some big money. If we can get Najee on a team friendly deal and then also get Nick Chubb and Jaylen Warren, man, I mean, we might have a crowded running back room, but I'll take it. Having more bodies better than no bodies. And if we could take some notes from New England and how they did it back in the day, they always had another guy step up. So, like I said, I'd love Nick Chubb in the fold. I really think he could really open up our offense, but we'll have to wait and see what the Omar Khan, the con artist, does. So, regarding our running back room, also, there's been some news around Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris Regarding their future in Pittsburgh, obviously both are free agents this offseason. So there's a lot of questions into their future. Some reports have come out that the Steelers are probably going to tender Jalen Warren. So we'll probably see him back in the black and gold next year. Um, Last year, he really didn't have a crazy year. He dealt with some injuries throughout the season, and he really wasn't in the offense consistently. He played more at the end of the season, but earlier on in the season, he was not really in the fold, especially with having Justin Fields in there. He was taking a lot of quarterback runs, and other than him, Najee was getting the ball. And we also had Cordell Patterson in the fold, so um, Warren was not as featured this year in the offense as he was last year, but I expect next year to be a big year for him. He'll probably be featured the most he's ever been featured in our offense. But if we get Nick Chubb alongside Jalen Warren, it'd be a really scary duo. But with Najee Harris, it's a really weird story. Like I said earlier, there really has not been any clear or concise reports on Najee Harris. Our owner, Mr. Rooney, did come out and call Najee a good player, but nothing special. When your owner's calling you a good player and he's not really regarding you as one of the best players, it's kind of disrespectful. But Najee really hasn't had too much consistency enough where it's crazy to say that because 1,000 rushing yard season, but if you really look and really watch the games, this guy has not been too consistent. Like I said, he'll have a game where he's got over 100 yards rushing, then the next game he's got 15 yards rushing. And you can blame that on the offense, you can blame it on the O-line, but when you don't show up like that, the owner, the coaches, the organization, they're gonna pick at you. They're gonna pick at the little games where you could have showed up, but you only had 20 yards rushing. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see what the Steelers do. With reports looking that they might go in a new direction, like a report that just dropped today regarding Nick Chubb. And then a few days ago, we had a video come out. Steelers are also interested in Bo Scatabo out of college. So there's been a lot of different reports about the running back room regarding the future. Another name that has been dropped is Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. That guy's a dog too, but I don't know if I really want him. And I could also see him going earlier in the draft, maybe to the Raiders. So right now, in our future, I could see the Steelers definitely holding on to Jalen Warren and then just figuring out the market, figuring out what Najee Harris is going to do, whether or not they want to pay him. And then if Nick Chubb is really available and the Browns are really willing to let him go, I'd love to pick him up, bring it over to Pittsburgh, give him about 3-4 years to end his career like Joe Hayden did. Give him some winning seasons finally. Get him out of Cleveland. I'd love to see it. Nick Chubb is still a great player. He's still got a lot to give, and I think Arthur Smith and the Steelers organization can put him into a prime position to win and get us that seventh Lombardi, baby. Let's win. Let's go Steelers. Here we go. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much. Peace out.